Have you ever wondered how long your body can function without food before your muscles even begin to weaken? It sounds like a test of endurance, but the truth lies deep inside your biology, in a place where your brain, liver, and muscles quietly negotiate what to burn and what to protect. Somewhere in that negotiation is an ancient survival code, a code that could completely change the way you think about fasting. And before we go deeper, make sure you subscribe, because what you're about to learn reveals a side of human survival most people never hear about. Today, fasting is treated like a trend. Celebrities promote it, scientists investigate it, and everyone has an opinion about how long you can last without eating. But before we get into the science, imagine this scene clearly. Your body running low on fuel, scanning for energy, but still determined to keep you alive with precision. Every cell begins whispering the same urgent question: what do we burn first? Contrary to what many believe, your body doesn't immediately attack muscle. It's far smarter, shaped by thousands of years of feast and famine. Human biology was designed to survive days, sometimes even weeks, without destroying the very tissue needed for strength and movement. But there is a turning point, a moment when survival instincts change direction. By the time you finish this video, you'll know exactly when that moment arrives, when your body stops being strategic and starts becoming cannibalistic. But to understand that moment, we have to start at the beginning, the very first phase of fasting. The first day without food feels deceptively calm. You might think nothing serious is happening, but inside, your body is rearranging its priorities with military precision. The glucose from your last meal fuels your brain and muscles for roughly 12 to 24 hours. Meanwhile, your liver functions like a portable generator, releasing stored glycogen to keep your blood sugar stable. As the hours crawl forward, glycogen reserves start to empty. Your body senses the shift and sends out hormonal messengers, adrenaline, growth hormone, and other protectors, to preserve muscle and encourage fat breakdown. It's a fascinating reversal of expectation. Your body saves muscle by burning fat. You may feel a strange calmness or sharper focus during this time because insulin begins to fall and ketones slowly begin to form. These small ketone molecules, made from fat, are about to play a much bigger role. But for now, the storm hasn't arrived yet. You're still standing in the quiet before the transformation. Most people think fasting simply means not eating, but fasting is actually a biological orchestra. Different organs step in at the right moment, protecting your focus, conserving strength, and shifting energy sources. The real story of fasting begins when your body finally flips its internal fuel switch. Around 24 to 36 hours in, the body undergoes one of its most extraordinary transitions, shifting from burning glucose to burning fat. This shift, known as metabolic switching, is an ancient survival feature. It's how early humans endured long hunts, cold nights, and unpredictable food supplies. As insulin drops even lower, fat cells release fatty acids into your bloodstream. Your liver then converts those fatty acids into ketones, a cleaner, longer-lasting fuel source. These ketones don't just energize your muscles, they cross into your brain, enhancing clarity, alertness, and focus. It's the biological equivalent of a backup generator powering the entire system when the main power line goes out. During this stage, your body fiercely guards your muscle tissue. It seems to instinctively know that muscle equals mobility, mobility equals survival. Protein breakdown slows significantly while fat becomes the main source of energy. This is the metabolic golden zone, fasting working for you, not against you. But once this shift happens, an invisible timer starts ticking. Because although the body can run on fat for a surprisingly long period, there comes a moment when the survival strategy has to evolve, or crumble. That moment begins with autophagy. Somewhere around the second or third day of fasting, your body activates a process often described as cellular self-eating. This is autophagy, your built-in biological recycling plant. It breaks down damaged proteins, malfunctioning cell parts, and even precancerous cells. It's your body's deep clean mode. Instead of using muscle for energy, your body consumes cellular waste. It's a remarkable form of self-preservation. Science links this process to longevity, healing, and disease prevention. The brain benefits too. Autophagy cleans neural pathways, sharpens focus, and reduces inflammation. This is why extended fasting can produce mental clarity many people never expect. Your body is literally repairing itself while you do nothing. But while this renewal is happening, a new biological question emerges. How long can this careful balancing act continue before the body begins sacrificing the very tissue it worked so hard to protect? Many people fear they'll enter starvation mode the moment they skip a meal, a mythical instant collapse of metabolism. But actual starvation mode doesn't appear quickly at all. Science shows it takes several days, sometimes even weeks, depending on your body's build and activity. During the early stages of fasting, metabolism doesn't crash. It rises. Your body releases norepinephrine and growth hormone, keeping you alert, energized, and prepared to search for food, just as your ancestors once did. It's an evolutionary advantage written into your DNA. Your ancestors couldn't afford to slow down when hunger struck. They had to stay sharp, alert enough to hunt, defend, or flee. That same biological logic still shapes your body today. Studies reveal that meaningful muscle loss doesn't begin until glycogen is depleted and your fat reserves begin shrinking toward critical levels. Until that point, your body's mission is simple: preserve strength, burn stored fuel, and keep you moving. Your muscles are still safe. So the question becomes, when does fasting cross that invisible line? When does the strategy shift from intelligent conservation to costly sacrifice? That's where we're heading next. The moment your body begins fighting to protect the one resource it values above almost everything else: muscle tissue. If you're enjoying this breakdown and want science that actually explains what happens inside your body instead of vague guesses, make sure to subscribe right now. New videos drop every week, each one exploring the hidden systems that keep you alive. By the third or fourth day of fasting, your body enters full preservation mode. Not only does it avoid breaking down muscle, it begins actively defending it. Growth hormone levels often rise dramatically, sometimes hitting up to 5 times their normal levels. This surge acts like a biological shield for your muscle fibers. Growth hormone slows protein breakdown, encourages your body to burn fat more aggressively, and protects the tissue that represents raw survival. Thousands of years ago, losing muscle wasn't cosmetic. It was catastrophic. Without muscle, you couldn't run, climb, hunt, or protect your tribe. So evolution created a strict hierarchy: burn fat first, protect muscle second, use muscle only as an absolute last resort. This is why people who fast for several days often maintain their muscle tone surprisingly well, especially when hydration and electrolytes are kept in balance. The human body isn't fragile. It's engineered to survive extreme conditions with mathematical precision. But while your body is guarding your muscle, it's also unlocking a powerful alternative fuel source, one that keeps your brain sharp even when you haven't eaten: ketones. Imagine your brain running on an energy source that burns cleaner, lasts longer, and avoids the roller coaster of sugar crashes. That's precisely what ketones do. Around the 48-hour mark, as fat metabolism rises, ketones begin flooding your system. These molecules fuel neurons, muscle cells, and vital organs with surprising efficiency. Your brain, usually dependent on glucose, begins operating smoothly on ketones. Mental clarity sharpens, your mood evens out, hunger dips. It's a biochemical shift so powerful that people on longer fasts often report feeling more focused than at any other time. From an evolutionary perspective, this makes flawless sense. When ancient humans were starving, they needed heightened awareness to track prey, not sluggishness. Ketones made that possible, giving the brain steady fuel even in the harshest environments. But hidden beneath this brilliance lies a limit. Your body can run on fat and ketones for a surprisingly long time, but it cannot do so forever. And when that balance finally tips, muscle loss begins to seep in. So when exactly does that moment arrive? Most people assume muscle breakdown begins the moment you skip a meal, but that is one of the biggest myths in nutrition. Research shows your body can defend muscle far longer than most expect. For many people, muscle preservation lasts 7 to 10 days, depending on body fat percentage, hydration, and activity level. During this time, fat provides the overwhelming majority of your energy. Fat oxidation becomes the dominant engine feeding your metabolism. The real transitional moment arrives when fat reserves begin dipping toward dangerously low levels. Once your body senses that stored energy is no longer adequate, it reluctantly turns to protein, specifically muscle protein, to keep vital organs functioning. This shift typically occurs when fasting extends beyond 2 weeks, or when body fat becomes critically low. What's remarkable is how intelligent this process is. Even when muscle breakdown begins, your body doesn't just tear into your biceps or legs. It starts by breaking down non-essential proteins, enzymes, structural proteins, and damaged cellular fragments before it ever touches the muscle fibers that matter. It's like dismantling spare parts long before touching the engine. There is an order, a system, a method. Your muscles don't disappear overnight. There's a deliberate, well-timed sequence behind everything your body does. But if you want the exact scientific moment where fasting shifts from helpful to harmful, research offers a very specific answer, and that's coming next. Clinical studies on prolonged fasting, from NASA experiments on astronaut metabolism to tightly controlled metabolic ward studies, reveal a consistent pattern. The human body can fast for 5 to 7 days with minimal muscle loss as long as hydration is maintained. Fat remains the primary fuel, and protein breakdown stays impressively low. In one study, participants who fasted for a full week primarily lost body fat, not muscle, thanks to elevated ketones and protective growth hormone levels. This proves something powerful. Your body is far more resilient than modern fitness myths would have you believe. However, this protection isn't endless. After roughly 10 to 12 days, protein catabolism, muscle breakdown, begins to accelerate. The body starts converting amino acids into glucose through gluconeogenesis to feed red blood cells and certain brain regions that still rely on glucose. So the science-backed truth is this: short-term and moderate multi-day fasts won't destroy your muscle. But cross the 2-week mark and the balance shifts. The key is knowing how to extend fasting benefits without triggering that shift. And here's what most people never consider. Fasting doesn't have to mean being inactive. Light resistance training, bodyweight movements, stretching, walking sends a powerful message to your body. We still need this muscle. Studies repeatedly show that even minimal strength training can preserve muscle during fasting. Muscle fibers respond to tension by maintaining protein synthesis even when no dietary protein is coming in. Your body has a remarkable way of adapting to movement as a survival signal. When you stay active, even lightly, your muscles understand they're still needed, and that shifts your biology in powerful ways. Speaking of muscle, what you eat when you finally break a fast matters more than most people realize. A meal rich in leucine, found in eggs, fish, legumes, and dairy, immediately jumpstarts muscle protein synthesis and stops catabolism almost on the spot. This is why fasting isn't automatically tied to losing strength. When done with hydration, micronutrients, and simple resistance movements, fasting becomes a coordinated balance between breakdown and rebuilding, stress and recovery. But the real question remains: what is the ideal fasting window before things take a dangerous turn? Every biological rhythm has a breaking point, but it also has a zone of mastery. For fasting, that sweet spot usually lies between 16 hours and 72 hours, depending on your physiology, your experience, and how much body fat you carry. Inside this zone, your body reaches peak efficiency. Insulin sensitivity improves rapidly. Autophagy increases, fat becomes the dominant fuel, and muscle tissue stays well protected. It's like catching the perfect wave. Too short, and you miss the real metabolic shift. Too long, and the current pulls you into territory where strength starts slipping. For most people, this means periodic 1 to 3 day fasts or daily intermittent fasting windows like 16 to 8, 18 to 6, or OMAD. Within these timeframes, your body cycles through fat burning, cellular cleanup, hormonal balance, and improved mental clarity, all while keeping muscle mass stable. This isn't about starvation, it's about timing, understanding the window where biology works with you instead of against you. But as adaptable as your body is, pushing beyond this zone carries consequences. There's a razor-thin line between discipline and damage. After roughly 10 to 14 days without food, the body's internal alarm system starts sounding. Fat reserves shrink, ketone levels hit their maximum, and cortisol, the body's stress hormone, begins climbing. That rise in cortisol accelerates protein breakdown, signaling the earliest phase of muscle loss. You may feel weaker, lightheaded, or notice your recovery from simple movements slowing down. These subtle changes are your body whispering that you're crossing from renewal into depletion. Autophagy slows. Electrolytes drift out of balance. The protective mechanisms that shielded your muscle begin slipping. At this stage, fasting stops being beneficial and becomes a biological burden. Even monks, fasting clinics, and medical researchers acknowledge this threshold. Once fasting reaches extreme durations, it requires medical supervision, hydration strategies, and nutrient monitoring. Extended fasting is not about proving how far you can push yourself. It's about knowing when your body is saying, enough. Science provides the numbers, but human experience gives the story depth. Across cultures, from religious traditions to modern biohackers, fasting has always tested both the mind and metabolism. Dr. Yoshinori Osumi's Nobel Prize-winning research revealed autophagy's role in cellular purification. Modern physicians like Dr. Jason Fung use structured fasting to fight metabolic disease, insulin resistance, and obesity, all while preserving muscle mass when done properly. People who fast strategically often describe the experience as hitting a reset button for both body and mind. Sharper thinking, deeper sleep, a lighter, cleaner feeling that goes beyond the physical. Yet for every success story, there's a warning. Extended fasting without knowledge or supervision can cause nutrient deficiencies, hormonal disturbances, or muscle weakness. The difference between healing and harm is not willpower, it's understanding. Before we reveal the final science-backed answer, think for a moment. Have you ever tried fasting yourself? What did you feel in your body or mind? Share your experience in the comments. Someone else might gain clarity from your journey. If you're fascinated by how fasting transforms your body, wait until you see what it does to your immune system. Make sure to watch next. What happens to your immune system during fasting? Science explained. The perfect continuation of this exploration. So, how long can you truly fast before losing muscle? According to the strongest scientific research, up to 7 days of fasting carries minimal muscle loss risk, especially if you maintain hydration, electrolytes, and gentle activity. Beyond that point, the balance begins to shift and your body slowly turns to muscle protein to survive. Your body is built to endure. It doesn't waste away easily. It unlocks stored energy, sharpens focus, activates cellular repair, and cleans itself from the inside before it ever touches your muscle. The key is not how long you can fast, it's how intelligently you fast. Short, intentional fasts guided by science can improve longevity, boost mental clarity, lower inflammation, and sharpen metabolism, all while protecting strength. So the next time you skip a meal, remember, you're not just withholding food, you're activating a system older and wiser than civilization itself. If you enjoyed this journey through biology and survival, like, comment, share, and subscribe, because the next story might change the way you understand your body forever.